What's up everyone? Today's video we're going to go over everything wrong with my 1998 Wrangler TJ. So if you are already subscribed to the channel and you saw the last video, I don't know what order I'm going to post it in, but possibly the last video, you know we bought a Wrangler TJ. And if you're just joining in because of this video, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out, and if you know info on these things, you could help me fix everything wrong with it and then build it up. The reveal video that we posted, I will link it up here if you care to watch it, because now you know the car we have. I went over just a few things that were wrong with it that I caught offhand, kind of spotty with the recording of everything. But this is the 1998 Jeep Wrangler TJ. It is the sport model, comes with the 4-liter straight 6. I'm learning here as I go along. Today's video, which I think I know the answer to it already, but we're going to double check, confirm what axles we have in this thing, because you can upgrade. I'm suspecting the front is a Dana 30 and the rear is a Dana 44, I think it was. You can upgrade those, because I think first step of this is we're going to go with 35-inch tires. Right now there's 33s, and they're the same size as on my truck. I'll post a picture here of my truck. If you're interested in that thing, hit that subscribe button also. So in this video, I don't think we're going to get too crazy in depth with this, but we're going to go search around the thing, see if we can find anything, maybe do a little bit of like a bolt check in the front end, especially just make sure everything's snug. Then we're going to go over some of the, from my research, a couple of things to look for, or most likely things that just go bad that need replacing, and we're just going to confirm that those are before we order it, and then we'll move along from there. And also, if you're here for the truck content, I didn't forget about these upper control arms for the Colorado ZR2. I'm probably going to install those tomorrow, but I'm not sure if that video is going to come out before this one, so just stay tuned. Got lazy, well, it was yesterday when we picked this thing up. Got a little lazy and didn't clean under the hood, so bear with me on that, but it will also help to show all the nastiness under there. So first things first, other than cleaning out underneath the hood, valve cover gasket, I know from my research, is something that is common. So if you look in here, it's pretty crusty. So that's something that's going to be on the list. It looks pretty wet, especially like down there. And from my research, you can get away with just retorquing it down, or I guess torquing it down a little bit tighter, but I'm just going to order a new one, replace that. I'm thinking of doing spark plugs, maybe the wires for it, because I see there's a distributor cap on it. Probably just going to change those also, just so that's all fresh. Obviously an oil change, but we're going to get to that point. Got to find a filter, because that thing looks a little nasty. I don't know if that's just a standard cone filter. It's usually like oiled, like a K&N style filter. Might just be able to find one off Amazon. If I find it off Amazon, I'll link it down below, but we'll also get to that. Now, three other things that I noticed yesterday is a little more in-depth and a lot more dirty to deal with. Do I have the flashlight? Snooping around yesterday, I found this axle seal seems to be bad, because that looks pretty crusty. Let's slide back a little more. And we're sliding back a little bit more. And as you see, those two little puddles there. So I believe it would be the rear main seal on the engine, but the previous owner said he's been adding transmission fluid to it, so it might also be the transmission leaking. Could be either or. Most likely the rear main seal. From my research, that's very common, and I think it said you're good for about 60,000 miles with that, and then you need to replace it again. And I would assume that needs replacement. And if you look in here around the transfer case, I'm not really going to be able to get much light, but I believe there's another leak in here somewhere. That one could be the transmission leak, and the other one could be the rear main, or just oil dripping down from somewhere, leaking in there. I'll figure that out at some point, but something that's going to have to get addressed. Now, I just looked under the car at the axles. The front is a Dana 30, which is the front axle used on all the TJs except the Rubicon model, and this is the sport model, not the Rubicon. Then the rear, I thought was a Dana 44, because it's a common one, but it's actually a Dana 35. If I remember, I will link the forum that I used to identify this that had the pictures and stuff. I'll link that down below so you can check on yours if you want. but I think the 35 is trash. Another thing I have, I guess, wrong with it, there's no third brake light. Probably gonna have to figure that out at some point. Down here, there's this random wiring just hanging out. If I had to make an assumption, this was wiring for a trailer since there's a hitch and this kind of looks like the plug for it. So that's probably wired into the taillights and stuff, so that'll get removed at some point. So a couple other things we found wrong with it was the seatbelts don't actually lock when you yank them really fast, so we ordered new seatbelts. I don't know if it's just a Jeep thing that maybe actually it knows when you're getting in an accident it locks, but they don't lock, so we ordered new ones. Then the steering wheel situation is the airbag light is on, so I don't know if it could be like a clock spring or something like that, because when you turn right with the blinker, it doesn't cancel the blinker out, so it could be something related to that. I don't know, gonna look into that at some point, but another thing wrong. The doors don't have the little strap, so they just open all the way, which isn't the end of the world, really. It's not a big deal because we might eventually take those off and just get a bar instead of these. Don't know yet, but that's something we'll possibly consider getting. We may have already ordered those. I have to speak with the wife, but that might be something that's going to get fixed shortly. Well, last but not least, which might be more than just this one that I'm thinking of right now, but the mirrors. This one especially is pretty loose. When I was driving home on the highway, this one just bent down like that and I couldn't see anything. So we ordered new ones. I don't know if there's even a way to tighten that. There probably is, but just ordered new ones to get it out of the way and put something fresh on the car. Other than that, we ordered new door handles because you see the little surface rust look a little old. Things like that to refresh it a little bit. Then the last thing, now the real last thing that I could think of is just tightening up the front suspension or front steering and all that stuff. So many of you watching, well, if you're watching this video and you're into Jeeps, you're probably a little upset that we're not going full blown at this right at the moment. All the stuff we're getting right now is just kind of like safety and cosmetic to just make it appear and seem safer. Well, I guess actually be safer, especially with like this, the seatbelts and stuff. So we're gonna get to the mods after we just make this, like after we refresh it a little bit. Let's go talk about the front steering, and I think that's the main gist of this. Everything I think that's wrong with this. So it could just be a Jeep thing. This was actually my first Jeep. Well, we rented a Jeep a few years ago, but that was a newer one. So I'll actually link that video up there. We did off-roading. It was kind of like the first time we ever off-roaded, and that was in Moab, Utah, and that was pretty damn awesome. This is my first time driving an older Jeep like this, so I don't know if this is just common. If you have a Jeep, let me know. But while I was driving, there's a lot of play in the steering wheel. So, and then I think the wheels started to wobble. I don't think it's full death wobble, but we started to get a little play in it. So, I mean, obviously, it's going to need some refreshing because these bushings and stuff, some of them are probably about 24 years old or however old this thing is. It's 98. So, stuff like this, I mean, that just looks shot. The other end, this is a little shot over there. So, all that stuff to tighten everything up. One of the videos I was watching was about this bar, and this one seems to be good. It doesn't have that much play in it. So that one we might not replace, but this whole steering thing, I might do the crossover kit from Steinjager, I think it was, which is straight to there, to the knuckle, and then there's a tie rod from there all the way to that one. Might do that. Looks kind of cool and whatnot. I don't know if we need a drop Pitman arm or not. So, if you are familiar with Jeeps, well, I guess Jeep TJs, but Jeeps in general, let me know about the stuff you saw about me checking on here, especially the axles. Is the Dana 35 complete trash? I think one of the videos I watched, the guy was kind of saying it was like trash. The Dana 30, I know I saw on one of the websites, they sell some upgrade kits, so when we run the 35s, which is the plan, for at least now, we won't break anything. I mean, we're not really going to do any hardcore wheeling right now. This thing does have a 4-inch lift on it at the moment. Might get a new 4-inch lift just to refresh everything because who knows how old this stuff is. It is amazing how much shorter these Jeeps are because the front of the Jeep is at the same distance as we usually back in the truck, and that's how much room is left. I usually back the truck up to that line. That's why I put the tape there, and we have a very large gap there. So I got the front of the truck up in the air, just doing like a quick bolt check. Everything was pretty good until we got to this adjustment bolt for the alignment. So this one right here, it I guess gives the front in and out. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. So that's one of the things that could, obviously I put the wrench on and it turned very easily. It wasn't like anywhere near being tight. So that's one of the things that could lead to like wobbliness in the steering and front suspension. So definitely going to check the other side now. Then hopefully I don't find anything else. I think I'm going to add lug nuts to the list because these lug nuts are absolutely horrible to deal with. They're like spline drive. Let me show you the key. Hold on. It's not a regular nut. It's kind of just like that spline drive like that. And it's horrible to deal with. The ones on that truck are very similar, but I guess higher quality or maybe not as old. The ones on this truck, every single one, it got stuck and I had to like kind of like wiggle it loose. It was a little annoying. Added to the list, I forgot the rearview mirror is non-existent. I have it somewhere in the garage with a little epoxy kit to put it back on, so that's an easy one. I pulled off the steering stabilizer slash dampener or whatever it is, well, one end to test it, and it was pretty easy to move in and out a few inches, then it grabbed, so they're cheap enough. I'm just going to order a new one of those. And then I've been thinking one of the kits, I think I mentioned it before, it was the Steinjager, I think. I don't know the name of all the bars yet, but the Steinjager bar steering column, the crossover column, so the crossover steering system bars, whatever they're called. So I'm probably going to order that and leave out the track bar because the track bar on here was upgraded. Seems new. There's not really any play in it, so I'll probably leave that. Lower control arms are pretty fine, but the uppers I'm going to replace because those are older. The bushings look a little shot. If you are familiar with Jeep TJs and you know any good upgrades, kind of like reliability upgrades, I guess, that I should do, let me know down below. Now, from my understanding, these engines last a lifetime. As I was searching around the forums, someone said they sold theirs with 600,000 miles on it. So this is a high mileage one. It's 216,000 miles, but nothing we can't fix. Like I was saying earlier, just a couple seals that need to be fixed, and that seems to be it. Really, it seems to be pretty healthy. I don't know transmission. I don't know if that needs to be rebuilt or not yet, but it seems to be working. Seems to be functioning properly. One thing I have noticed is starting the car takes a little bit extra to start it. So I don't know if that's part of like the ignition system or fuel pump might be a little dirty or something like that. I don't know what it is. So stuff we're going to get around to fixing. I noticed the starter was in a good, easy spot to change if we need to. So I don't think the starter's the issue. I think it's one of the other things. I think one of my favorite things about this thing is the color, which is deep amethyst pearl or something like that. It's a purple color. It is pretty sick. Let's see it kind of in the light there. It's a sick color. For what I could tell right now, that's all that's wrong with this thing that needs replacing. So gonna go through that. I actually didn't really go over the rear end of it much because that one doesn't concern me as much as the steering on the front end. But we will eventually go over this entire thing, make it 100% or 98%. We're not sure how long we're going to even keep this in the first place, so as long as we make it safe for the next owner too. But plans on building it, like I said, these are 33-inch tires. We're at least going to go up to 35s. I kind of want to do 37s, but I don't know what else I have to do since it's only a 4-inch lift. I don't know if we're going to have to go up higher than that to fit the 37s. Definitely different fender flares, I know that. Maybe some trimming. I don't know. I'm thinking version 1, I guess it would be version 1 for us, will be 35-inch tires, just to get everything dialed and working properly and how it should, so this could actually just be a daily driver. Right now, I don't really want to take it too far because of just like all the random little things that need addressing that we'll eventually find more of, because obviously, like I said, this is from 1998, so it's a 23-year-old car, I think. Yeah, 23-year-old car. And there's obviously going to be more issues than were addressed by the previous owners, mainly bushings and stuff like that. But that's it. If you know anything about these things, you know anything else I should be doing, or should look after, or cool upgrades to do to it, let me know down below. I will see you guys in the next one. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content. Might start working on the 190E back here again if I could build up the motivation, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if I didn't say that already. I think I did. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.